ears open.
We are live broadcasting from the Carnivore World headquarters of JJ and Eric. And JJ's getting her ears in. And we are ready to do our intro. I'm Eric. I'm a novelist, and I eat beef and what else? Eggs and coffee.
Salt.
Well, a little bit of salt, not much salt.
Yeah. And I'm JJ. I'm a life coach, and I eat mostly meat.
And you just bought a giant bag of fat today.
I did.
I saw it.
Oh, I was going to bring stuff down, and I forgot.
What were you going to bring? Show and tell?
Yeah. But that's okay.
Well, you can talk about it.
I will talk about it. It's not quite the same as a visual, but...
No, it's not the same at all.
No. But if you're listening to this more podcast style, you won't miss a thing.
You won't miss saying what we don't have.
Yes. So it was my 2-year anniversary this week.
Oh, for Carnivore.
For Carnivore on the 22nd. And so that was exciting. And I was out with my friend for lunch.
And you did not eat carnivore.
I did. I did not have a salad that day.
Oh.
No, we went to a seafood place that was on the Milwaukee River. And I did not eat seafood either, because if you've been around, you know I don't like seafood. But they had beautiful 1/2-pound burgers. And they even had no issue with giving me a double, an extra patty and just charging me a little bit extra, not a full entree. Because a lot of places just charge full entree.
Exactly.
So it was lovely. And there have been no salads this week.
I just saw a very large fish jump in the lake.
Oh, really?
It was kind of incredible. We're not that close to the lake from where we're at here, so it was a big one. I guess it's close to my carnivore anniversary too, even though it was a kind of misremembered.
Well, yours would have been sooner than me, I think.
And I don't remember the specific date. I have it in my electronic journal, but I haven't looked it up recently. But I guess we're going strong. I've really, really cracked down recently.
Mm-hmm.
I had done that earlier this late summer, I guess it was. I had cracked down and taken out artificial sweeteners and dairy. And then I kind of brought dairy back a little bit. And then all of a sudden the artificial sweeteners started to creep back in. Well, they're gone. And the dairy has been gone as well.
You're cracked down more than you have ever been cracked down. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm not even really salting that much. I salt the eggs a little bit just for taste. But I had seen Amber O'Hearn on X talking about how the OG carnivores just didn't add salt. And there was a talk she gave on YouTube. And it kind of, I don't know if it convinced me, but it kind of persuaded me to try less salt to see how I felt. I have long been under the impression that I don't feel well without massive influx of salt. But I don't know how much of that was real and how much of that was just psychological, or how much of that was just in the past keto adaptation happening and sort of a keto flu.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe what was helping me with, by supplementing with electrolytes and stuff was actually the potassium, and it wasn't really the sodium that was the big issue. But I don't know what the answer is. This all coincided with this big blow up over Element that happened on, like, I saw it on X, and the story there being each packet of flavored Element containing more, maltodextrin?
Yep, maltodextrin.
Maltodextrin than was on the label. And my understanding is that they updated this information on the website someplace, but the label hadn't changed yet. I don't really know what the story of that was. So I saw somebody was throwing their element away and they were recommending
Ugh.
other people or other manufacturers, but I don't really know if the malted dextrin is different in the other electrolyte mixes or not.
Now, I started my carnivore journey without any electrolytes and had no issue at all. However, now I very much have foot and leg cramping when I don't have it,
Okay.
when I don't have electrolytes. And I know there are other ways to get electrolytes than Element. But I find it interesting that I just didn't have that issue before and now I do. It's very marked. Like it wakes me in the middle of the night. And I'm not a crampy person. Like I don't I didn't get them when I was pregnant. Lots of pregnant women get leg cramps and stuff. I don't have a lot of experience, but yeah. So I'm kind of hooked on the electrolytes and especially Element. And my understanding is that, and I don't think there was anything nefarious here at all. My understanding is that it does fall under natural flavorings. And I've heard the two crazy ketos who are friends with the bears from Keto Chow. I've heard them talk about natural flavorings, and those really are a proprietary thing that is not the manufacturer. It's not Keto Chow or Element. It's the people they have produce their
Hmm.
stuff. So that's a proprietary thing. And the understanding was that it was like, I believe I have these numbers correct, but I might be off. It was like 4 milligrams per 1,000 servings of maltodextrin is what the belief was. So again, I don't think it was nefarious. I think the natural flavorings people made the switch without Element
Hmm.
necessarily knowing. And now they're saying, I think it's like 250 milligrams per packet. So the idea of going from like 4 milligrams per 1,000 servings to like 250 milligrams per serving. Again, I might have those wrong. I'm just going on hearsay, but that is a massive, massive
So,
increase.
but is it a problem?
Well, that is the question. I've listened to a lot of people in the keto world talk about it. And the feeling is for most people, it might not be a problem. However, there's just a food labeling mistrust
Yeah,
that's
I
created.
can understand that. Yeah.
But there is the belief, as you know, I follow Dr. Boz, and she does believe that her metabolically deranged patients, I love that word, and I use it, she didn't, but her metabolically deranged patients, that would actually affect. And you can look at, we've talked about this before. You can look at your blood sugar because mine doesn't move really on Element, but you don't necessarily know what your insulin's doing.
Hmm.
And
Oh,
your
yeah.
insulin can be tampering down the blood sugar. So you might be having an insulin, not necessarily a huge spike probably, but you can be having an insulin raise and not realize it.
So I, it just happened that I'd stopped using any
Yeah.
element right before that all came out. But my understanding also is that the unflavored wouldn't have any in it because
Yes.
it wouldn't be flavored. So it wouldn't need the natural flavors.
Yeah. That's my understanding too. And my understanding is also that um, Redmond Relight does have small amounts of maltodextrin. Now, I don't know if they're using, hopefully, they're not using the same natural flavorings, people. But Salty from Keto Chow, like they demanded no maltodextrin. So you should, if you are worried about that, Salty is the one to go with. And of course, you can always just use drops and things that don't have any flavoring or the unflavored. Like
Yeah, I
you
saw
said.
in comments somewhere that probably on accident that some people were just making their own version of
Yes.
it somehow, and with each of the powders of magnesium, potassium, and sodium, and I don't know if they were flavoring it or not. It sounded like a lot of work to me, and I don't even know if it's necessary.
Well, Element, I think, is the ones who supply the recipe.
Oh, is that?
Like they say, go ahead, go ahead and do it for the unflavored. But again, I don't think it was nefarious. I think it just happened. Like again, their manufacturer shifted things. They didn't know. They found out. But you're right. It wasn't really transparent either. So that's,
Yeah, I don't know.
yeah,
It it's all mind reading at this point because
yeah.
we don't have. I'm not aware of an official statement. I don't know if Rob
Mhm.
has come out and said, "Here's what happened."
Yeah.
But I want to just go back to. I don't even know if anybody ever needs it.
Well, that is, yeah.
Obviously, we're not affiliated with them.
Well, I know that I just had an order placed recently.
Yeah.
So we are very well stocked on both the sparkling and the flavored.
Oh, I did not like the canned sparkling
No, you
stuff.
didn't. I do like it every now and again.
Um, it did not taste good to me.
So yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do in the future, but I'm very likely to make my way through the stockpile that I currently have. Yeah.
So,
We've got some viewers
yeah,
with us. Hello,
I'm
everyone.
apologize for pronouncing your name, Haramis, the way I pronounce it because I don't know how to pronounce it. Hello from Russia. I listened in another video that Eric was bringing back sweeteners. I think this is bad as it makes you not forget the sweet taste. You are correct, and I have banished the sweeteners again.
Yes, he has.
So, not to worry. I am breaking the chain of the sweetener addiction. JH, literally just thinking about cramps have been getting on my calves whenever I do a stretch or flex. I call the cramps a Charlie horse, although not sure why they call it that. Great podcast. Yeah, they've called those Charlie horses since I was a little kid, and I have no idea why.
Me neither. Me neither. Well, I still do some dancing, but I used to have a dance studio and I danced as a kid. I would get arch cramps when I first started doing point
In your feet.
in my feet. But yeah, just the calf cramps I've never had until, again, more recently, if I happen to skip a day of electrolytes. Don't know why it's a Charlie horse.
About leg cramps, I only get them when I stretch in bed in the morning. So I try not to use my lower body when stretching. I don't know English. It's not stretching like yoga. It's morning stretch. Yeah. Well, I get and have had foot cramps for a decade when I stretch, and I don't know why that is. But I hate it. And it was just 2 weeks ago. I was in bed and my calf was bothering me, and I was just kind of massaging the calf, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
triggered the worst calf cramp I have ever had in my life.
I thought he was dying. It was at night in bed. And all of a sudden I'm like, are you, and he didn't answer me. I'm like, are you okay? And he said nothing.
I was in agony because I know that for a calf cramp, you need to point your toe towards your face to force the muscle to stop spasming, which it did. But that calf was sore for 3 days after that. It was crazy. Christ is King 460. My cramp went away when I stopped
Oh.
salting. Interesting.
Very.
Salt is mined from rocks that would be unnatural to get in the wild as a nomadic hunter. I lost my taste for salt over time. Very interesting because it's hard to eat an unseasoned steak.
It's hard for you.
Yeah, because if you're used to that seasoning, that salt, it adds to the flavor.
It would be hard for me too. I'm not singling you out, but there are some people who don't salt.
Right. I mean, Bella doesn't salt,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And Dr. Chafee, he talks about salt if you want to.
Mhm.
It's almost like he's like, why would you want to salt it? I don't know. So I have on beef and eggs. I had some butter. Was that last night?
I don't know.
I supplemented with some butter because
yeah,
I needed some more fat. And it's not that I'm avoiding butter. It's just that I don't like butter on steak that much. And I don't really like it on my eggs. I cook the eggs in the pan after I'm done with the steak. And so that soaks up some of that tallow, that beef fat. So I like that better anyway. But I have definitely been having some body recomp.
Mhm.
I have not had massive weight loss from doing it, having 2 meals a day, um, breakfast and late lunch.
Well, you're also probably not far from your ideal weight.
Yeah, but I've still lost a
Yeah.
little bit, but I still have some body recomposition to do.
Mhm.
And just based upon my blood labs, I think that there's some, I don't know if it's inflammation or just visceral fat or something that still needs to go.
Mhm.
And so I'm going to stay doing it.
You're on a mission.
Plus I actually have felt pretty good eating this way.
Mhm.
And I would say that my sweet craving is pretty minimal.
Now, my question is, this time of year
Yes.
has always been a slippery slope for you because your birthday's coming up in a couple weeks. And then it's Thanksgiving, and then we move into the Christmas season,
Right.
right? So, I'm not saying I see you doing that this year, but I'm curious, how are you planning to navigate the holidays?
Well, you make an error in assuming I have a plan, which is surprising given the fact you've known me for well over 30 years.
Yes, yeah.
Um, my intention right now is to just keep eating this way for the rest of my life.
Mhm. Do you need me to make beef for Thanksgiving?
No, I'll eat turkey.
Okay.
I like turkey.
All right. The turkey will be salted.
I'm not opposed to salting the turkey. I'm not saying don't salt any of my food.
I'm just checking.
I just found that I don't like heavily salted beef.
Hmm.
Maybe I'm becoming an up-leveled carnivore
You
here.
may be. Yeah.
So another thing I saw on X, if we're going to switch gears from the element thing, is this post by, let me make sure this is coming through. Yep.
Mhm.
Mike, low carb dietitian, posted, if you have fatty liver, then drop the carbs. A keto diet, I can't talk. Ketogenic diet can reduce fatty liver 31% in just 6 days, even without a lot of weight loss. Researchers are saying the anti-steatotic effect of ketogenic diet is well established. Yet in primary care, most aren't aware of this as the most effective treatment for fatty liver, so patients are never given the option. And this little chart is just showing what he's saying is that the fat in the liver drops very swiftly on a ketogenic low carb diet. And that's really encouraging. Now, this reminded me many years ago, I had gone to see my primary care doctor and he ran the usual blood labs. And my liver enzymes came back elevated, my AST and my ALT. And I was really nervous about this because his first thing was like, how much do you drink? And I don't drink alcohol. And I don't now, I didn't then. And so I had hair even back then. And so my hair is on fire with fear of like, what's going on? How can I have this happen? And I think he even called our house with something and you picked up the phone and he asked you about my drinking.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah, you told me about this afterwards,
I'm sure I did.
which was before HIPAA apparently.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you're supposed to do that. And you were like, no, he doesn't drink. And he was perplexed of why I was having these liver enzymes elevated because he was like, this is what I see in fatty liver. And, in retrospect,
Mm-hmm.
I had fatty liver because I was eating tons of carbs
Yeah.
all the time. It was the first time I'd ever even heard the term. So I didn't know what to do about it. But I do remember that he was like, well, we'll retest in a month. And we retested in a month and my enzymes were fine. So I don't know what to make of it.
I did another foray into a different food this week.
Okay, let's hear about it.
So you know how I bought those kippers for you?
Yes.
And I tried some on the air a couple weeks ago. It was not good.
Yep.
Well, I took a can of tuna,
Mm-hmm.
which I can sometimes get down, and I took some kippers and I mixed them all together. I did put in some avocado mayo. I uh, I didn't have salad. I did have avocado mayo, and I ate it
And you're now revealing this live,
live.
and I didn't know this either.
Yeah,
And did you barf?
I did not barf. I got it
Did you
down.
gag?
It was close, but I did not gag. Yeah.
And you
So
kept it down.
I
So
I did. Again, watching Dr. Boz, who is like the queen of sardine fasting. Now, again, there were no sardines involved in this scenario, but she's like, kind of like, be a grown up and you have to start eating the things to grow to like them. So I thought I would, again, wade in. We talked about wading in in that one video. I sort of waded into the fish pond.
yeah, you did.
Now, I've tried fish many, many times throughout my life, and sometimes with some regularity, but not much regularity. So I don't know. I might try some more in the near future to just, again, wade in. I don't know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You could put it in with some ground beef. That seems terrible.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know about that.
You could mix it up with some lamb,
Oh,
and then you'd have
what would I have?
some hoof juice.
I've been trying to get it down, but it tastes like the ground hoof juice. Oh, it's no use. Lemon every style is nothing but vile. It's the truth. Oh, I can't stand that hoof juice.
Well, I'm proud of you for trying kippers in tuna.
Yes, kippers and
Was it
tuna.
was it a 1-to-1 blend?
I
Or
don't.
did you just feed half of the kippers to the dog?
No, no. I don't know that it was 1-to-1, but it was one package of kippers to one can of tuna. I don't know exactly, but this. I mean, I tried them on air, and I know they were very smoky.
You tried a molecule.
I know, and it made me gag. But the smoke, I was encouraged by the smoke, and I have learned. Like, I've learned why people put lemon on seafood and stuff. Like, I know that there's a reason to put something with a fish to drown out the fish taste, sort of. So anyway, that's why I did do the avocado mayo to help with it. So yeah, I did it. I don't know what's going to become of it, but I did it. Period.
Since switching to carnivore, I have grown to love beef liver and have fallen out of love with chicken. This is interesting. Chicken is really, I mean, I don't hate it, but I just don't get any sense of satisfaction from chicken. Cook beef liver rare over high heat, just a little browning on both sides. It's very tasty. We have not done the liver cooking here yet.
No. When I was doing paleo many, many years ago, I bought chicken liver because that's supposedly more mild. And I brought it home and I started to cook it up. And the smell, you weren't around. The smell was so strong that my cat ended up getting the chicken livers.
And loved it, I'm sure.
I'm sure he did.
But you have to trust the manufacturer if you eat it half raw.
I would say so. Yeah.
I would agree with. In generally speaking, let's just stipulate you should trust the producer of anything you eat.
But again, this goes back to I agree. Eric always thinks I am disputing what he said. I agree. 100% trust who you're eating, what you're eating and who processed it. And again, we've been taught so much to fear meat.
Yes.
And I think that that's been overblown. I was just in a grocery store the other day where they had all the plastic bags. So that, and I get this too, because it's gross when your chicken leaks all over your other groceries. But it was like meat safety station or something. Like it
Yeah.
literally was some like meat safety.
Well, remember growing up, the local TV news stations would
Mhm.
always have that. Is your kitchen trying to kill you? More at 11.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it would always be make sure you don't just leave chicken juice all over the counters and your plates and stuff. People do get food poisoning all the
Oh, yeah.
time from mishandling meat. But I've become quite cavalier about handling beef.
Yeah, I'm much more cavalier as well, I would have have to say. Um, but I don't recommend it. I'm not saying you should be cavalier.
Hi, Courtney. It's good to see you
Hey,
here.
Courtney.
Glad you caught us. That was funny. Hoof juice.
Yes.
Yeah, hoof juice is one of our greatest hits.
Mm-hmm.
Do you question any other science you've been taught now that you see how bad food science is?
I'm not going to go into details because we don't do that type of thing here. However, I will tell you, it was almost the opposite for me, where other science sort of led me down the road of going, this science was kind of wonky. And then when I started learning about food, it just sort of filled in after that original science. So, yes, I'm continuing my skepticism, but it didn't start with food. It started, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Are you picking up what I'm laying down?
It took me a minute
Yeah,
because you sometimes talk in reverse.
I know.
Yeah, there's lots of recent events that have caused us to question science.
Yes.
But I'm encouraged by actual science and I'm into it. I like it. I'm
Yeah.
interested in it. But I don't think, especially nutritional epidemiology, doesn't seem like it is science. And that's not just me saying it as a layperson. That's the view that I learned from Dr. Georgie Eid. Take a drink. We mentioned her.
You did.
Yep.
Yay.
And, but don't actually take a drink. Take a drink of water.
With unsalted, perhaps with unflavored electrolytes. Unless you're off the salt,
Yeah, if you
then
need
don't
it.
worry about
You
it.
probably don't need it. You probably should wean off the salt. But I mean, what do I know?
Well, you know what? I'm going to watch your experiment before I delve into that one.
So I want to pop back over to preview here. And so a couple of points I want to raise here. One is the question was raised about why I'm not on the thumbnails of any of our pre-recorded videos. And I tried, and our views were always terrible. Our click-through was always terrible on videos where I had my picture. But I decided, because JJ wasn't around and I needed to create a thumbnail, I'm like, fine, I'll put myself on it. And then when it fails, I'll just have more evidence. But we did have one that actually did well.
Yeah.
And then this one just tanked again because my face was on it. But I love this comment. And this video was talking about whether we should just go cold turkey, plunge into carnivore, or whether we should tiptoe and go into carnivore, gradually removing some foods. And YO said, I love what you say about beef, bacon, butter, and eggs. I just could never succeed when it was recommended to cut out grains or cut out sugar, even cut out dairy. I needed the positive of what to eat, not what to cut out. I started with eating meat and veggies, and pretty quick, the veggies were more of a bother to have.
Yeah.
I went through an element phase also after seeing all the ads, but then I just kept wanting more, so that's gone. I have attempted cutting out cheese, but then I don't have anything else as delicious to sub, so it is diminished but not gone. And so I just think this is a great example of we probably all do this to a certain extent, of not going full out total carnivore, everything gone, and it just makes us take longer to get there.
Well, and we have talked about it being a skill. So again, I do admire people who can do that, and you're doing it right now. You're pretty clean, and I'm not there yet, and I might be there
Yep.
someday. Maybe.
The last thing I've got to get rid of is coffee, and
Mm.
I haven't quite done it yet. Um, Thoroughly enjoyed your discussion experience. The at 12:29, me thinking about personal struggles with dietary changes and my approach. The um, the thing we were talking about at that point in the video was when I went carnivore and I had a lot of digestive tract issues from it. What I was saying there
Mm.
was the fact that I was having those symptoms actually to me told me that I was doing something right, not that carnivore was doing something wrong. And I think by framing it that way of like, oh, this is evidence I'm making positive change because now my microbiome has to adjust to this new reality, and all of the bad microbiome and bacteria that love sugar and in part are causing me to crave it
Mm.
are going. So that was what that comment was about.
What was interesting was right after we'd had that discussion, I heard Bella saying something similar.
Oh,
And I
really?
don't think I've ever heard her mention that before.
Well,
But yeah, she said something similar. So
I
yeah.
swear I thought it up myself
I know you did. I haven't heard
because it was my actual
yeah,
experience.
I haven't heard it around too much.
Uh, Mark Spooner, November 27th, 22, I woke up and started eating everything that I loved to eat, which was carb and sugar loaded garbage. I drank 11 12-ounce cans of Coke. If I did that, my heart would explode
Yeah.
with palpitations. I probably consumed 10,000 calories on that Sunday. Woke up on Monday and went carnivore, eliminating all carbs. That first week, I honestly thought that I was dying, but pushed on, lost over 40 pounds, and cured all of my issues. Another week or two, and I will be celebrating my second year carniversary. If I had to do it over, I would have not ate all that junk one day before going carnivore. Yeah, I. It's interesting the psychology of getting ready to make a big change
Mhm.
in doing the last hurrah. I get it. It's probably yeah not ideal.
We've done it in the
Oh
past.
sure, yeah.
We've done it in the past. Now, with carnivore, neither one of us really told each other we'd committed to it completely. So we didn't have a last hurrah or a discussion around a last hurrah. It just kind of happened. But yeah,
But
all
these are
the
amazing results,
yes, holy cow.
and he definitely did it hard mode, and it sounds like it worked out great.
A little extra hard mode with the
Yeah, yeah.
day before.
But on the other hand, 11 12-ounce cans of Coke, I wouldn't have slept
Yeah.
that night, and I'd feel so sick the next day. I wouldn't want to eat anything anyway.
I have to say, I used to love Coca Cola, and uh, it is not even a thought at this
Mm,
point. Like which is unusual.
yeah.
I mean, I've given it up in the past for a decent amount of time, but I do. It started with not wanting that blood sugar reaction.
Yeah.
Like I did not want that insulin spike, and so it was not worth it. My friend and I, the one I eat the salads with, um, we would have Coke. She likes Coke too, so we would have Coca Cola. So, we were Coca Cola buddies and knew where to get the best Coca Cola in town. So I was where I would only have it once a week at that lunch. This is pre carnivore. But then I stopped and she asked me about it. And I'm like, I do not want my blood sugar to spike. Yeah. I do not want that insulin response at all. So it's not even something I miss.
Pinkopotamus said, I did cold turkey out of fear of it, of if I tried to ease in. Okay, I see. I'd
I'd
never
never,
get all the way there.
yeah.
Now, 3 months later, I've lost 40 pounds. My
Wow.
A1C is down to 5.6. My fasting glucose is down to 110 from 180.
Wow.
My trigs are down. As expected, my cholesterol is up since I stopped taking a statin, and I feel great.
Congratulations.
I wish
Holy cow.
Pinkapotamus was here so that we could congratulate Pinka, but that's excellent.
Wow.
It just never gets old seeing testimony like this of how powerful
Yeah.
the diet is.
Yeah.
This is crazy. Say those are the end of those comments. Let's get back up to here and check in with the chat real quick. Oh yeah, as an addendum, we should only eat what existed before stores existed.
Yeah.
That is pretty good guidance. Yeah,
Mhm.
I can't fault it. Did eggs exist before a store existed?
Yes. Yes, they did.
Did beef?
Yeah, in some form. Yeah.
So that's great.
Luis.
Did I click it? Yeah. Howdy from fellow carnivore in North Carolina. Hello. How are you doing?
Hello. Hello.
It's good to see you here.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you have some delicious meat or something for dinner coming up.
Oh my goodness. We have you've been running the stores out of steak.
Yeah, I've been eating like 3 steaks a day, which
Yeah.
for me is just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're making sure we stock up. Again, I was like, you go to I go to the store and I buy these steaks, and I mean, they're not cheap, right? And I've been into ground beef lately, so that kind of evens things out a little bit. Plus my kippers and tuna day. So that brings some of the cost down. But yet, if I took that amount of you eating 3 steaks a day, which is sort of expensive, but if I extrapolate it for the whole month, it's not.
Because we're not eating
Because you're not eating
anything else.
anything else.
Yeah.
So it's not really that bad. And one of my family members has just cut out processed foods recently and said when they started that it was a little costly moving over to more fresh foods. But now, 2 weeks in, has said how much they've saved on other things in their life, like ibuprofen, for instance. So I do understand, and we've witnessed that the pendulum, it seems like an expensive shop when you look at one shop, but when you extrapolate it out and take out the other expenses, it's a wash, if not savings for some.
And now that I'm not going to be buying Element, that's a savings too.
Yeah. And bacon.
I need to eat the bacon, but it's
Okay.
just not been
It's not been on
what I've been doing.
I threw it in the most of it in the freezer.
Okay.
So
Good.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I don't want to eat the bacon. It's just that's not what's on the menu right now.
It's not where you're at.
It's not where I'm at. We got a super chat
Oh, hey.
from JH.
Thank you.
That is incredible. Thank you so much. And
Oh, my goodness.
I think this calls for salad is toxic.
Salad is toxic, let me hear you say. Forget the greens, live another day. Salad is toxic, join the parade. Make a sweet escape, leave the greens at bay. Salad is
Oh, we don't want to just hear it over and over again.
Maybe I should do some choreo to that. Like some legit choreo.
I'm not going to learn it. Don't choreograph me. But thank you so much, JH.
Oh, thank you.
That's just amazing.
Yes. Yes.
Hello, Annette. How much did I miss? You missed all kinds of stuff. We talked about Element and maltodextrin and she ate killers, which you call kippers.
I did. Sort of. Sort of. I'm going to call them dirty killers.
But you mixed them with tuna.
Because I mixed them with some tuna and some avocado mayo.
Yeah.
So they were not clean. They were dirty.
Do you avoid environmental toxins like plastics, nonstick pans, microwaves, unfiltered water, fragrances, etc.? I do try to avoid drinking out of plastic water bottles. I don't think it's even possible probably to avoid. I mean, even the steaks are wrapped in plastic.
Mm. Yeah.
Suppose we could try to get them from a butcher who wraps them in butcher paper, but I bet the butcher paper is coated with plastic on the inside. We're not using a non-stick pan right now.
No.
Although the air fryer has a non-stick coating.
Yeah.
The microwave I don't have a reason to use because I just cook everything fresh.
That's true. The microwave gets very little
Yeah.
use. I would say we're conscious of these things. We cut where we can and
Yeah.
don't stress too much about it otherwise.
We have an RO. We have RO water.
We do.
I don't even know if the water it's cleaning is actually that bad because it comes out of a well in a rural area.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, but you use tallow instead of on your on your face,
That
right?
is a good point. So I have very sensitive skin anyway, and carnivore is one of the things that has allowed me to allowed my skin to heal and my allergies because I have very sensitive eyes as well. So what did I do? I went about 4 or 5 years where I couldn't wear any makeup at all. And now I am wearing a very clean powder makeup and using just tallow. I don't use any soap or any other moisturizer. I only use tallow. But here's where it's not 100%. I am using a name brand mascara. My eyelashes are blonde, so I do like to use mascara. And again, went 4 to 5 years without it. But I've not been able to find any cleaner mascaras that don't end up with black drips down my face. So my eye makeup's not clean. But again, try to do what we can.
Yep.
Try to cut what we
And
can.
I just switched toothpastes
You
after
did.
learning about the problem with fluoride preventing or inhibiting nitric oxide in the blood through some mechanism, which I forget. And also, I just saw that Dr. Berry was saying it competes for iodine.
Yeah.
Because it takes up the same receptors.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about that. And but there was just a recently some big suit that is one that people that's I don't know, cities have to take the fluoride out of their water or something.
There was some big thing that we don't know enough about to talk about really, but there was a big suit proving that it was not as safe as maybe we've been led to believe. I let go of the fluoride quite a while ago now. I don't know exactly when, which was crazy because my family, my mom worked in a dentist office, oral surgeon, dentist forever. So that was a big deal.
Speaking of your mother, she has not gone carnivore.
No.
But she has eliminated processed foods.
Well, she is the family member I was talking about. Yes. Oh. But now, yes, it is my mother.
I don't think it's big doxing.
No, I don't.
Of someone who's eliminated processed foods. But it's made a significant impact.
It did, and it did within 2 days of her eliminating processed food.
Yeah.
It made a huge difference. And we know there are a lot of people say that really, they kind of want to minimize the carnivore part and say, oh, it's just because you're eliminating the processed food. And I think that is a huge part of it. But we also, you and I both have experience with plants doing us wrong. So, and it just, for us, it's so much easier to focus on meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I was scrolling through X and I saw Dr. Baker's face come up and he was like bad news. And I was like, what's this? So I watched the video and apparently somebody in X reported that Sean Baker was dead.
Oh no.
And so he did this whole bit about, I've got bad news. I'm dead. I guess I died of scurvy.
So first, Dr. Chafee is not a doctor, and then Dr. Baker dies.
It was pretty funny. It just was so funny that someone would actually post something so incredibly falsifiable by the actual person we're talking about.
I watched a Dr. Baker video this morning, and it was his interview with Courtney Luna. I almost said Love. It's not Courtney Love. Don't know if she's carnivore. Courtney Luna. And you had bought her cookbook few weeks ago when it first came out. And so I decided this morning that I was going to try one of the recipes that I wanted to do in that book, and that
Mhm.
was her corn muffins.
Oh, okay.
So the reason I picked this one to try was because it has ground chicken in it. So when I went to the store yesterday, I bought some ground chicken, and I could see from my history of gluten-free baking, I kind of get a gist for, oh, this how things replace different elements. And so I was like, okay, I can see where the chicken will make a difference in this recipe. So I made it, and eh. Sorry,
Well,
Courtney,
how
I
much
do
corn
love
was in it?
you. There's no corn. It's eggs, chicken. I mean, it's typical pork panko. I think that's mostly it. And you can use corn flavoring as well. But I mean, it's fine. It's a butter vehicle for me. I put some butter on it. It's fine. It tastes quite eggy. I mean,
Mm,
I would have, I would have had you try it if I thought you would like it at all, even though you're really clean now. But so it was for me. It was a good idea with the chicken in it, but yeah, maybe it's good if you're sopping up some pan sauce or something with it. I can see it. I can see it for it's a nice little something different, but I don't know if I'll make it again. It was
well,
fine.
what was it hard?
It was extremely easy, I will say that. So that's nice. It wasn't a challenging recipe. And I want to try her mitza or carnitza, I think. So there are some other recipes of hers I do want to try as well. But that was the first one that I did, and it was fine. Or no, and you did her bread once.
Yes,
Yeah.
which I did not like.
Yeah. This was very this was quite
But
similar.
again, I seasoned the bread with Italian
That's
seasoning,
true.
and I think if I'd put everything but the bagel in it,
Yeah.
it would have been better. But I'm not gonna have anything with cottage cheese in it right now,
No.
so
No.
there's no point to make it.
And I will definitely eat all these. I mean, they're not bad, but I don't know that they're worth the effort for me. Yeah.
I guess it depends on how much variety you need.
I like a little variety,
And I
but
like consistency
you do.
and not having to I like to where I can have something that I can make on autopilot and it turns out the same every
Yeah.
time. And I'm getting pretty good at steaks.
You are. I
Yeah.
know. I'm looking at those things going, wow, that's a beautiful piece of
I'm
meat.
getting a good sear.
That's a beautiful piece of meat.
I'm not overcooking them as frequently because, I'm not paying attention.
I think, well, are you using the Tyfer or are you using the cast iron?
I both.
Both.
I sear it and then I put it,
Yeah.
I finish it in the Tyfer air fryer for just, I don't know, a minute or two. And then I use the meat thermometer to make sure it's actually where I like it. And then I eat it.
I think that's I think when we pulled out the cast iron again, it was kind of a game changer. And we've done it before, but then we get sick of maintaining the cast. We just get lazy.
Yeah.
We just get lazy and put the cast iron away. But no, it's been good. It's been good to us.
Annette says, I think my best friend of almost 30 years is finally on board with this way of eating. For various reasons, I'm having her track high fat, moderate protein, beef, bacon, butter, and eggs.
That is awesome. I am so happy for you and for her. That is awesome.
So, Annette, you wore them down.
Annette, did you try the 9-year-old aged cheddar? Let me know.
It was too sharp, I bet. It's too sharp for me. Brush my teeth with a clean brush with no toothpaste at all. I make sure to rinse my brush and mouthwash every time I brush with mouthwash.
Oh,
Not just the beginning, at the end of the brushing. Try it. It's awesome.
interesting. I'd be up for that. Totally. Yeah.
Annette says, try pure makeup, JJ. I use
Okay.
mascara. P-U-R.
I will give it a try because I'm actually running out of mascara. So,
Well, I mean, what could it be made out of that's different?
we won't even get into it. And I don't know enough, but there are a bunch of makeup ingredients that are dodgy. So the more natural ones get rid of those dodgy things. But sometimes it's like pigment with oil, like it's a pigment with a sort of an oily base and those run all over. So I don't know what pure is, but I will look into it because I would like some that is cleaner and that works.
So if you've been enjoying our video, please make sure you don't forget to give it the old thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, you should.
Mhm.
I apparently, with my last video, irritated some of our subscribers because they abandoned us with that. But it might just been because my head was on the thumbnail and they were like, I don't want to see that again. I want to see JJ. They always want to come and see JJ. Um, so washing without. So there was the no poo movement for a
Yes.
while. And when I had hair, I did that for a while with no shampoo, and my hair got very soft.
I played with this for about a week. Well, I've done it. I tried it before in the past a little bit, and then I played with it for about a week fairly recently, right before we moved. It was right before that. Um, but there is that transition you're talking about, and I just couldn't do it. And you will totally tell me when my hair stinks. So
Yeah.
I, yeah. So then I,
It is one of the problems
bailed.
with cooking so much meat is that the beef cooking smell absorbs into your hair, and then I smell it.
Yeah.
And I like that separate from your head.
I do use a pretty clean, a decent shampoo and a decent soap, and I only shampoo about every 3 to 4 days. So there is that, but I would love to kind of go without. And I do totally see a difference on carnivore that there I get that you're saying there's the cooking smell in my hair, but I mean, there's so much less odor in general.
Yeah, that's true.
Just it's a
Yeah.
whole different experience being carnivore.
It's weird. It shouldn't be, but
It
it
is
is.
so weird. Yeah. As far as body odors, feet, it's amazing. It's amazing.
I regularly get extraordinarily filthy working outside, so I like to use some soap. I like to feel clean. But
Christus King also has not used any soap
yep.
for 10 months. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It saves on soap.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I can see that before the shampoo. I could see me going to that before the shampoo. But if I lived alone, I'd probably do both.
Yeah. I'm not sure you could do it without being carnivore though.
Yeah. Well, I think we've experienced people who
Yeah.
maybe have sort of played with that way of life.
When our daughter was very young.
Yep.
Yeah, she very much carb addicted, and she would take her shower and come out, and I'd be like, "Did you use soap?" And it was very clear she had not used soap. She was just trying to get it over with.
So it's a standing joke now.
Yeah.
And yeah, she has to roll her eyes every time, of course.
I actually don't say it anymore because it's like pure torture for her. now.
Yeah,
It's not even actually even funny.
It went beyond
It
being.
was too much. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to cover before we wrap this up, because we have not had our late lunch yet.
No,
We're
we're a
late.
little late.
We should be done by 4:00, and we haven't even started.
I have one thing.
Okay.
Okay. So you've been changing your diet, and as it was very clear in our last video about wading in, I'm not ready to wade in deeper at this point. But I was driving the other day before yesterday, and I was like, duh, if I want to tighten things up a little bit, for me, it would be going back to some more fasting. Now, I had done priming because I got ravenous, right? And I think that was great for me. And just like priming was created by Coach Raymond and Bella's Steak and Butter Gang community. And so I was like, I am going to fast 2 days a week, not consecutively, sort of that 5-2 thing. So twice a week, I'm going to skip a day of eating. And I don't know how long. I'm thinking it's a great way to get through the holidays, but I'm also, again, working on these, can I ooch my blood sugar down? And when I watch Dr. Boz, it seems like fasting might help me. And that's something that I'm enjoy doing and have been very successful at. So, yeah, so I'm going to do 2 days a week, non-consecutive. So it's not quite alternate either, but non-consecutive. And I don't know how long I'd like to keep it up through the holidays, but I'm going to listen to my body. If I get ravenous again, I'm going to prime. So I'm not, once again, I'm not going to make a full commitment. But I am going to give this a shot for a while and see how my blood sugar responds, especially. But I can tell you, it had been a little while since I'd done it, and I just did it. Yesterday was the day I skipped eating, and I feel great. I'm like, why did I say why did I stop? Um, so I've already refed today. I'm not on my fasting high right now, but holy cow. Oh, it is so good for my brain. It is so good for my brain, so good for my mood. And so yeah, so that's how I'm tightening up a
You
little
get
bit
those
here.
ketones real high.
I get those. Oh, they were sky high. And again, I kind of wonder, I've been following some Dr. Boz stuff, and I don't know if that has allowed my ketones to get higher than they've been before when I was fasting. So I don't know, but that's my lever that I'm pulling. And I know I had a viewer ask me if I was fasting or suggesting that maybe I should make my eating window longer and add more meals. And yes, there's a time for that, but I don't think this is the time.
Well, if you're feeling good,
Yeah.
you should stay.
But it was a complete like when I was driving, I was like, yes. So it was a full body like, oh yeah, I'm in. I'm in to do this for a little bit. So that's what I'm doing.
JH, carnivore is the best open secret that no one cares about except for carnivores. There is a bright side to this. Costco is always well stocked.
Mm-hmm.
And with that, JH, thank you very much. Oh, Steak Man, we got to say hi to Alan.
Oh yes.
Happiest Friday, friends. Still have not changed my mind about salad. You don't need to. JJ skipped it this last week.
I skipped it.
So,
No salad.
We have a contractor who just arrived who's good at work on the house. And that's perfect timing because we're done.
Thank you so much for watching live, watching the replay. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.